Hello and welcome back to Circulus, a homebrew D&D campaign, 5th edition, and we are kind of short-staffed right now. Our party is more of a crew. One could even say they're a motley crew. And probably only one member of the party got that reference.
Oh, I got it. I have a Motley Crue t-shirt.
Okay, wonderful. Well, with us on drums would be Tom. Tom, who are you playing today?
I'm playing Tommy Lee. I'm playing Panqarim, Darkstone, a Gnome Barbarian.
And rocking the keytar, because you can't be a band from the 80s if you don't have a keytar.
Of course.
Would be Chris. Chris, who are you playing?
I am playing Vex'Sarin, the half-elf ranger.
And hopefully joining us later on will be Eric and Logan. They are currently without internet, so let's hope that they figure out how to turn it off and back on again.
I am now just imagining all of us with instruments, and then Shepard's just sitting there barking as the singer.
You know, we need fans, so someone can make that fan art.
Yeah, we do.
Somebody make that happen.
Pretty much. I might have to commission that. I don't have the school year has started, so I don't have time to draw anything anymore. So we, in our practice of stalling, we're going to start off on the same day that the last session ended on. And basically what is going on is the day's not quite over yet. It's maybe getting close to supper time, but some clerics show up and basically pull away Obaim and Fenix. And what you kind of overhear from the conversation they have quickly is something you've already know about, or Terra the Rock Shaper, which is the goddess of the dwarves that are local to this area, has stopped answering prayers. They're not getting any healing abilities anymore. Well, it turns out that Botanus, the goddess of beauty, same deal, not answering any prayers. And paladins have healing abilities, and clerics of what's his face? I don't remember the name.
Neither do I.
That is so bad.
I think I wrote it down.
That guy.
I know what Obaim's deity is the deity of. I just don't remember his name right now. But
I didn't write it down.
It turns out that those two individuals still are getting their spells. So they basically go and try to help out the local church of Botanus and the local church of Terra the Rock Shaper, because they can give you a band-aid, but that's about it right now. So that's 2 out of the 3 deities, well, almost 4, that aren't answering prayers. What's that?
I feel like
Ilmater?
Ilmater sounds about right.
Ilmater, something. I just scrolled up and saw it.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to go and help, because although I'm a lowly ranger, I do have cure wounds.
Okay. Do you go and help the clerics of Botanus or the clerics of Terra the Rock Shaper?
I'll go help the clerics of Botanus. I feel like Obaim can help the rock shaper ones.
Okay. All right. So what happens when you go to help them out is they lead you to their church. It is full of refugees. It looks pretty much like the emergency room of a hospital, where you've got some triage stations going on. There's someone walking around handing styrofoam cups of hot chocolate to various people. Everyone's wrapped in a blanket. There's one person dressed as a strange clown walking around holding a button and wondering why it's not blowing things up. There's a DM checking his notes.
I can tell that part, don't worry.
you end up using whatever spell slots you have on people who need it. There's a few people with broken arms and cold and stuff. And after that, you actually spend a decent amount of time. I'm not going to roleplay the question and answer session, but you end up basically talking theology with a bunch of higher level clerics. Because your god's answering your prayers. Their goddess isn't. And they're somewhat comforted by the fact that someone up there is still answering something.
Well, kinda.
Roll an insight check.
Okay. First roll of the night. I'll use the dwarf dice. Oh, that's good, that's good. 21.
Okay, so you get the feeling that you are being asked all these theological questions because these clerics of Botanus are becoming more and more certain that their goddess is dead.
Oh.
And they're in a situation where their main service that they can provide to the community is gone. And there's a ton of people in need. Oh, hey.
Right.
I see someone has hopped on the internet. Now watch, he's using Discord on his phone, so he's going to sound like a Cylon.
I know.
No, I'm good. Logan's going to be on here shortly.
Wonderful.
So, right. Dead. Okay. What can kill a god?
Give me a religion check.
Oh, right, okay. Let's see.
I think that would be a fitting skill set to check
the modifier, okay. 13?
A more powerful god could kill a god.
It's not even like I could ask my god, because he would know nothing about this.
Although your god, you know, or at least you believe, is more powerful than any of the deities that exist in this world. You know from your travels on Circulus so far that most deities are very, very local, where they would be worshipped in one or two communities. There's a few kingdoms that would have a national deity. Like Botanus is actually the official deity of Okuma Ridge. But most of them don't have more than a few thousand followers on the planet.
Whereas my deity speaking to me from an alternate timeline.
Not an alternate timeline, but another world.
Yeah, so he powerful.
He's powerful, and he probably has more followers in one town that most deities in Circulus have on Circulus. So if he decided, hey, I'm going to knock off a few of the competitors on this planet, he could probably do it. So basically, the two things you're getting for the knowledge check: one, a more powerful god could kill another god, and two, the gods of this world that you're in now are relatively weak gods. Tom, pretty much everyone that is pious in one way or another has been hurried away, and you're just hanging out at the inn like, okay, what do you do?
Probably stay there, to be honest with you. He doesn't have a...
You have Shepherd keeping you company.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You left Shepherd.
Shepherd is laying right next to me.
Now that is character development right there. You've gotten to the point where you trust Shepherd with the rock gnome.
Yep.
The deep
I
gnome,
like
rather.
Gnome.
Yeah. Shepherd's cool. So yeah, I will stay at the inn and watch Shepherd sleep.
And ride him around town.
I don't think he'd let me.
I don't think you are a gnome, but I don't think Shepherd is big enough for you to ride him quite yet.
If you could ride Shepherd, I don't think you'd have a choice. Shepherd would make you.
If you could ride Shepherd, I would be allowing for Shepherd's takedown ability to be functional. Which is a long-term goal, I believe.
Yes. We're beefing up Shepherd, boys.
Okay, so, Eric, while you're there, how about you also roll me an insight check?
17.
Oh, you nailed it. Okay. So, of course, you use your spell slots to help out everyone you can help out, but most of your time spent when you go to help them out is actually in a side chamber talking to several of the higher-up clerics about theology. And your insight check was pretty much for you to get the sense, because they really don't want to admit it to you, not just because they're dwarves, but because they're high-ranking religious leaders. And those individuals are often more stubborn than dwarves. So they've got a twofer right there. But you get the sense that they're fairly certain, and they're growing more and more certain as time goes on, that Terra the Rock Shaper is dead.
Probably, yeah. Well, we haven't been able to get those spells answered, and folks haven't been able to. Yeah, I understand that. Is there any way?
Probably. It is Dungeons and Dragons.
Trying to think. Obviously,
Certainly try.
obviously, there's an area in which everybody prays for her. Is there any way I could kind of pray or maybe sense to see if she's around? I mean, I know that she's not my deity and all that, but any way that I could maybe try and figure out if from just by doing some conjuring of some sort that I'd be able to go ahead and maybe sense her. Now, mind you, I'm pretty sure they've done it already, but I don't know. Maybe I could give it a try.
Give me a religion check.
Stand by. That's something I can do. $21.
You don't contact anything.
Okay.
Wait,
You
not
don't
even
have-
Hesgod?
What's that?
Not even Hesgod?
Well, he wasn't trying to contact his god. He was trying to contact Terra the Rock Shaper.
Oh.
Correct, yeah. It was just trying to maybe sense something or maybe even feel a presence. Clerics have the ability to kind of feel auras around them and of divine nature, and even if that's not their deed, they can still maybe sense or even grasp something. But if if you're I'm looking for something specific, and if obviously he says I don't find anything.
Now, I'll give this to you with your high roll for the religion check. There's many different possible outcomes from you not being able to sense anything. It might just be that Terra the Rock Shaper isn't going to grace you with her presence because you don't worship her anyway.
Sure.
It could be that she never existed. It could be that she's dead. It could be that she had her... I think the term that's been used in a lot of the rulebooks is portfolio.
Okay.
Her portfolio has been subsumed by another deity. There's a variety of possibilities. You can't determine which of these it is.
Okay.
But one of the ones that could have taken place is that she's dead.
Okay.
And that's definitely the one that the dwarves of this church are leaning towards.
I asked some of the dwarves that were the church, when was the last time that they felt her presence?
2 days ago. Roughly 2 days ago.
Was it faint? Usually, if I'm praying to my deity, I can feel his presence is strong and whimsical in nature. How about you? Are you guys, when you felt it, was it strong? Was there a dying? Was there something that was faint about it? You could, is there anything that might have been able to, give you an impression that something was wrong?
And here is where I really wish I was skilled at doing a dwarven accent.
I could do it for you.
Because I'd love to RP this, and I'm not going to do Whisper Down the Alley RP, unfortunately. I think that would end up being horrible for reasons that don't involve the people who are assisting me. But 2 days ago, Terra the Rock Shaper seemed as strong as she ever was. Mark a point on your day planner where everyone before this point that was praying for spells got them. Everyone that was praying for spells after this point didn't get them. It was like someone flipped a switch.
That is strange. All right, we'll continue to help out as much as possible around the area. Eventually, I'd like to go back to the inn and talk to my friends.
Okay. And I should probably have specified that if I, and I've said this before, if I ever say your character does something and I'm assuming incorrectly and your character would not do that, say it immediately. What's canon is what you agree to, not just what I say.
I agree.
I did make an assumption that based on what I've seen you do with your character so far, that you would pretty much dump all your spell slots to help out the needy.
That wouldn't even be a thing. I would do it immediately. That's
yeah. There no second thought.
Yeah, with his life, life aura, he would definitely try and help out as much as possible any way he could. He's lawful good. He has to do it.
I felt that would be a self-assumption to make, but there might be other times where I assume your character would do something and you decide, no, I'm not going to lick the frozen goblin.
No. If Vex got a splinter in his foot, he would try his best to heal the crap out of it to make sure it glowed in aura after he was done with the spell.
I wasn't the first one to swear. I'm proud of myself.
Okay, so you've used up all your spells, you spend several hours talking theology, you get the feeling that you might have made a few converts in the process.
All right, let's go back to the inn because I want to kind of update whoever is there to kind of give them a heads up. And then maybe from here, we try and talk to the Lord of the Manor, I guess, and kind of give him a heads up on some of the things that we've discussed based upon our lack of the abilities from, I guess, all the other clerics and dwarves in that manner.
You get the sense that those clerics are already keeping Lord Idris appraised. He is the ruler of the land, and they are. He does have a council of elders that advise him, and someone from each, I don't want to call it the major religions because this is Circulus we're talking about, but someone from each of the main religions that's worshipped in Okuma Ridge is represented on that council.
Okay, very good.
I want to go make sure Shepard's alive because I regret leaving him at the inn because that woman's going to stuff him full of treats.
All right, so I think we'll head back to the inn after the stuff over at with the cleric.
Okay, then fast forward. You're going back to the inn.
I will be sitting in the lobby or whatever the spacious area there is in the hotel.
The foyer.
With us. I'll wave to the guys over. We'll say, "Shep, still asleep."
In the room?
No, with me.
Oh, you actually have him. Cool.
Oh yeah, he's actually sitting there, laying at my feet.
You look down, and he's not sitting at your feet.
Where's my wolf?
You don't even need to make a perception check. He's pretty much walking from table to table underneath, and pretty much everyone that has a meal is giving him scraps.
I just blow. I just whistle really loud to get his attention to get him to come back.
If he was large enough to do a takedown, he would do a takedown. He bolts over to you in this fluffy gray blur and jumps up and hits you smack in the middle of your chest.
Hey, little guy.
Take 1d4 slobber damage.
Not shocked. Well, things are hitting the fan.
What's going on?
I think one of their deities is dead. I'm pretty confident that one of their deities is dead.
Am I back?
Oh, thank God.
I'm assuming I got there first, and then is Eric coming in after?
I'm just going to say an aside of Logan expressing his gratitude that he is once again online. Immediately after you said that there's a dead deity. And now that I've given that explanation for why he said what he said, I want to leave that little audio clip into the recording. Just because.
You couldn't time it better.
I know. It was so great. So I'm going to say you both arrive at roughly the same time. Obaim walks in shortly after you get tackled by Shepard.
Very good. All right, so we need to discuss everything with everybody, so everybody has kind of a heads up on what's going on. We do. I don't want to say we are confirmed that there is a dead deity to these clerics, but let's just say they can't feel the deity whatsoever. The presence is not around, and unfortunately, that's not a good thing, and we need to find out why.
So that's the Terra and the Botanis that aren't able to connect to their deities.
That's correct. So at this particular moment, I don't think this town of Okuma Ridge has deities protecting it from what's going on.
Oh no, there was a third church. Check my notes.
Yes, there is.
There's a third one.
That would be the church of the twin goddesses, Schemus and Mauritia.
Schemus and Mauritia. Mauritia being winter, Schemus being summer. I take notes.
Is that something we want to go ahead and investigate?
Probably an idea. It's winter now, so it'll be schemish.
When you were at your prospective churches, the two that you went to, you did see clerics of that church there also, and they seemed to have spells that were working.
Working, right? Okay.
Yeah, their deity is going strong. Well, one of them is. They only worship one of them at a time. They change that with the seasons.
So right now, Cold Miser is in charge?
Yes,
the goddess of harvesting.
Oh, I'm thinking Cold Miser and Heat Miser, sorry.
Well, if you want to call them that, you might get accused of blasphemy.
Do.
That song is going to be in my head for the rest of the evening. Well played. Well played.
Thanks.
Okay, and let's back up just a teeny little bit because Logan.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was NPCing you for a bit. You, as a Paladin of Bahamut, were also asked to help out. You can say, nah, I didn't actually go help, or you can say you went to one church or the other. It doesn't matter which. What did your character do, so I can make sure to remember this properly?
I'll just say I followed Vex.
Okay. So, do you use your spells to help out?
Sure.
Okay, so you use your spells to help out, and you spend a lot of time in the same theological discussions that Vex spent. And we're going to leave it at that because everything else is going to be revealed through their past saves. So whether or not you pass the skill checks, you would know this stuff. All right. So, what do you do?
What time is it?
It is. It's getting dark. If you wanted to take an early night, you could, or you could stay up late by the fire if you wanted to, or you could stay up all night staring at the window saying, "Can't sleep, the eyes will get me. Can't sleep, the eyes will get me."
Good reference.
There's not much we can do at this hour.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've all dumped our spells. We're exhausted at this point.
All right, that's fine. Let's make for the morning, and then we need to figure out what's going on with these clerics and possibly beholder.
Possible beholder. Giant floating eyes is creepy. Okay.
Okay.
Early night.
Yeah, we're gonna head. I'll head to my room and head to bed for the night.
Okay, you all head to bed. The scene fades out. You hear a bit of chiming music. Scene fades back in. You're all at full health. Never mind. That was a dumb reference.
Love it. Just a heads up, I'm still sleeping in my armor after that. Those eyeballs and the assassin.
At this point, unless you tell me otherwise, I'm going to assume your armor is always on.
Okay.
If you're like, I'm going to take a bath, I'm going to assume you're bathing in your armor. You will acquire a certain odor, but you don't tend to like people anyway.
No, Vex hates people.
You will smell like metal for the rest of your life.
No, he wears leather armor.
You will smell like leather for the rest of your life.
Not too bad.
Leather's not a bad smell. That's
Yeah.
not the odor he will acquire.
New car smell.
That's a great smell.
Vex
Wet.
walks around with an air freshener that's shaped like a pine tree around his neck.
Funniest part is I walk around with an oak leaf or a pendant around my neck.
If he wants to go faster than the law allows, he has a little CD that's around his neck instead.
Okay, in the morning, waking up. I'm gonna go ahead and do my morning prayer.
Okay, you get the same vision of a tower, and you feel a stronger sense of urgency than you have previously. It's a matter of degrees because there was always some type of sense of urgency, but it's stronger now.
Do I have a physical? I know you gave me a description before, but is there anything more detailed I can sense with this vision now that I've had it multiple times?
Well, you know how a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yay, pictures!
That is literally what you see in your vision.
Wow. Okay.
Only imagine the fog is moving.
Okay. Very good.
When I wake up, I would like to also pray. And see if Sylvanas has any way of confirming what we believe about the other two deities.
Okay, so you also get a vision. Your vision is not of a tower.
Okay.
Your vision is, and now you are familiar with what Okuma Ridge looks like from above because you've seen that illusionary map
Mm-hmm.
that is in Lord Idris's, one of his many rooms in his palace.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically you see that, but you don't think it's a map. You think you're like floating above Okuma Ridge. And Okuma Ridge just grows dark. Like it suddenly is in shadow. And that shadow expands and flows out of Okuma Ridge through the gores and just spreads. And as you sort of pan back, you see it spread over the entirety of Circulus.
Well, that's slightly ominous.
Wait, can I also pray?
You're
Yes,
a
you
paladin,
can. You're
yes.
a paladin, sir. Of course.
Hey, I'm praying.
He's like, I want to see cool stuff too.
The whole of Circulus?
The whole of Circulus. Well, the whole of known Circulus. Circulus covers an area that's roughly the size of Asia. It's in the southern hemisphere, not the northern hemisphere. And so far as anyone knows, it's the only continent. Any boat that's gone off to explore has either come back saying we didn't find anything, or they didn't come back.
After, at the very end of the vision, I just break out of it in a cold sweat, because that is dark.
I agree. Okay, so Fenix also prays. He gets his spells for the day, and he also gets a vision
Uh-oh.
Yay!
of himself
And I fart.
standing. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Thank you.
Standing atop a hill, holding a sword. And it looks like you've just finished a very, very involved battle. You've got some cuts and scrapes over you. Your armor is damaged in places. And the sun is rising behind you in a very epic moment. But as the sun rises and adds more detail to the scene, and you're able to see it more clearly, you see that the hill you're on is actually a pile of bodies. And
Wow.
And you recognize most of the people in the pile, including your entire party.
I'm the only one alive! I win!
Oh my gosh.
Yes!
Jeez.
So wait, so I'm guessing a war?
This isn't a good thing.
No,
You-
that's
you
a
don't
terrible
know?
thing.
But you were standing on top of the pile.
Oh my god.
And then the vision ends.
That's either everyone fought and I was the only one alive, or I fought everyone else.
You don't know. We got to figure out what's going on though.
It's a riddle. We need to figure it out.
Vex. Hopefully I go downstairs to the where the tavern is, and I'm trying to figure out if I can talk to my group, and we need to talk and see who we can talk to figure out who can point me to this tower, where this tower is, or if they know where it is.
Hold up,
Yeah.
because there's another member of the party.
Sorry about that.
Punk.
Yes, sir.
You do not have a vision because you, so far as I know, don't tend to pray to any deities.
No.
But you do have a dream.
Okay.
And is the most terrifying vision of all of them. You are in a land of brilliant pastel colors.
Ugh.
There are butterflies
Ugh.
and unicorns
Make it stop.
and cotton candy animals on swing sets.
I feel like you're
And
describing Florida.
there is a happy tune playing over and over again, and everyone has this giant smile on their face, and they all look very happy and so glad to be there. And why aren't you happy, Punk? Why
I would
aren't
like
you
to
happy?
rage.
Come join us.
And then Punk's wearing a bib.
and you just wake up screaming.
Oh my god.
You throw your monkey wrench on the floor.
I'm gonna. I gotta get up and just get downstairs and try to clear my head. So when I get down there, if I see the other party members, I'm gonna think, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, I'm just sitting there nursing a coffee with Shepard on my lap.
I had the most disturbed I ever had. It's so bad I don't even want to talk about it. How are you guys doing?
I think I just saw the end of the world.
You think you saw the Enro? I saw everyone dead on top, below me.
What did you see?
You guys were dead.
That's not good. However,
I-
I keep on having this crazy dream about this tower in the
You
mist.
mentioned that, yeah.
This
Tower?
is some sort of
Was it?
tower in a mist.
Wasn't there one of the quests we were supposed to go on? Didn't that
Oh.
involve a tower?
Yes.
To go see Marwood, or
Yes,
Whatever
we
his name
need to
is.
go see Marwood and
Because he was at a
Little
tower, wasn't he?
Punch. At Marwood's tower, yeah.
Who was the person we were supposed to go see for that one?
Old Marwood.
Yeah, he's an elf.
It's an elderly elf.
Do we
And
have
his
his location of where we need to get? We'll go talk to him at.
Yeah, it's I think it was 4 or 5 hours, we said, to get there.
It
I know
would
I'm
take
not-
most people longer, but you have a frickin' overpowered range. That makes
Yeah, we
difficult
did.
terrain easy.
I know I'm not a mystical type like some of you guys, but is it possible he's maybe reaching out to us through these dreams? Somebody's trying to tell us either don't go there or go there.
Well, in my vision, I was floating above Okuma Ridge, and the city started to go dark. And
Oh,
it
let me
expanded.
clarify. It
Okay.
wasn't the city of Coomridge Keep. It was all of Coomridge Valley that went dark, and then it
Oh.
spilled out to the gores.
Oh,
What
right,
if-
okay.
What if the picture of the tower is that her or him? I forgot. If it's a, wait, is it a girl?
It's a
For
him.
who?
It's a.
Marwood's a man, as far as we know.
If Marwood is telling us that we better go to the tower, or else the other visions are going to happen.
That might be, but I'm also. It feels very important that we do this, so I think we should try and make our way over to Marwood to see what's going on.
I
The
say
problem-
we eat and then we go.
The problem is, in my vision, I'm literally like alive.
I think we'll have to take care of that problem once we get there, but we need to do this.
I should clarify, being alive is not usually considered a problem.
I was gonna say.
But when you refer to that as a problem and your father says, we'll take care of that,
No. No. I
We'll
mean,
take care of that in real life.
no. I mean, like,
have you done all of your chores?
Why you little?
I mean, like everyone else is dead, so it looks like I killed them.
I just got a vision of Eric strangling Logan Homer Simpson style. Amazing.
Better running into the bedroom. Hey, Logan, you want to see my chainsaw hockey mask?
He's like, it's like Pokemon. He's a fire type on the water.
All right. Well, I think we should go ahead and get our supplies ready to go. Get something to eat. We need to get out of here.
We've already got supplies. We're good to actually leave just whenever we're ready. So we eat and then we go.
Yeah.
Very good.
Everybody use the bathroom before we go.
Yeah, we're not stopping for breaks.
First rule of travel: never pass up an opportunity to pee.
Literally, that's the only way. That's the only way Natural Explorer works. We have to be moving for at least an hour before the difficult terrain stops affecting us.
Can I bring my bird?
You get the feeling that it's still way too cold outside for justice to be effective. You could bring him, but you'd have to stay wrapped in furs or freeze to death. He's not acclimated to winter weather. He's one of those birds that would fly to a different climate in the wintertime.
The only reason that we're able to take Shepherd is because he's a wolf.
Well,
He's very
yeah,
fluffy.
he literally has fur.
Yeah. He's
My bird has feathers.
Okay, so you finish breakfast and you head out,
Yes.
and
I'm keeping watch the whole time, just in case there's anything around.
okay, well then everyone roll a perception check, and I will let you roll with advantage.
I think I'd be doing that anyway. Yes, I do get that anyway.
I give you the thing you already have.
17.
Which is good because the first one was a 4. Let's see. Perception. 20, not
13.
natural.
Sorry, 13.
17.
Okay, so Punk doesn't notice much, but the rest of you
Like usual.
are very much aware. Like previous trips you've taken through Coomridge Valley, as you've passed various farmhouses, most of them would still have smoke coming out of the chimneys. Every now and then you would see someone tending to cattle in a barn or something, like, signs of life. You don't see anything moving. You don't even see wild game. You don't see birds in the sky.
This is no bueno, guys.
Now, granted, many of the people who inhabited the farms that you're passing right now might currently be in the town of Okuma Ridge Keep, because the town is currently full of refugees. But
There's no
this appears to
wildlife.
be where they were evacuated from.
You say there was no wildlife around us.
You don't see wildlife either. It's empty. Well, except for tons of snow. It's not waist high anymore because you've had several days for it to melt down in the sun. There's a fairly thick layer of ice on top of it now, but that goes down a little bit every day. Ponk is pretty sure that he could probably walk on top of it without problems if he wanted to.
Nice.
So you're saying is, if we get hungry, Vex's puppy is the first one to go?
I will put an arrow through your eye with
Roll initiative.
Genuinely, arrow through your eye without blinking.
If you attempted to eat Shepherd, he would chew his way out of your stomach. I think that's one of the things that he was trained to do, actually. You don't want to know what the montage for that particular training looked like.
Oh, God, no.
Do you not remember what I was like with that wolf in the cave? This is my wolf. Imagine what's going to happen with this.
Okay, and also with that perception check, I take it back. You, Vex, specifically do occasionally, out of the corner of your eye, notice something. It's always pretty far away, and it's keeping its distance, but you get the sense that it's following you. It is somewhat wolf-shaped.
Okay.
You picking up anything, Vex?
Only good in regards to what's following us.
Oh, fun.
Only
What's
good.
following
It's
us?
fine.
Do we need to stop?
No.
Maybe
Just,
try to
well,
lure
we
it
have
out.
we have an ally with us, and I just keep walking. I do, however, have my bow out and an arrow notched the entire time for anything else we see.
Okay. You see some very threatening trees as you approach the forest line.
Oh, no.
But unlike when you were looking for goblins, as you reach the forest, the path continues.
Oh, is there a wagon that I can push into the trees as well?
No, sadly, there are no wagons here. Now, the path is not entirely clear, but you can make your way through. There's markers that are attached to the trees in various places, so you know which way you should be heading. You do have a map. It was included with the quest that you got from Geckard. But even without that map, you have a feeling that this trail has been marked specifically so that other people can find their way easily.
You hate that I'm a ranger, don't you?
It does put a damper on some of the things that I fit into this scenario, where some of the more challenging aspects of it are no longer challenging. But if I can reiterate a conversation we had before I started recording, adaptability is a useful skill.
Yes.
So let's just go with it. It means you're going to get there faster, and that's fine.
I'm sorry,
Um,
dearie.
Eventually you get to an area where the ground is sloping up a lot more than it is just staying level. The trees grow a little more sparse. There's a lot more pine in this area. But even those pine trees are kind of scraggly and short. There's no mountain goats in this particular area, but you are in... If there were, it would be the kind of goats where you see them walking on like sheer cliff walls to eat lichen. That's the kind of thing that you're on right now. But there are steps carved into the stone. And there is a kind of rope handrail that's along one side of the stone stairs also. The stairs are covered in ice. They're not exactly the easiest things in the world to navigate, but stupid ranger ability is what it is. So I'm not going to require you to make checks. It is very windy. You imagine that if you didn't have a ranger with you, you would have to climb up 3 or 4 times to get to the top. And sometimes just by the grace of the rope, that would be the only thing keeping you from sliding down, like a character in a remake of Home Alone. Eventually, you get to a point where the stairs go directly into the side of a cliff as opposed to going up it, which is very, very nice because you're no longer in the wind. That wind was biting cold, even with your cold weather gear. Justice would not have appreciated any of that.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And when you get through the cliff, you're in... It's too small to really call it a full valley, but it's kind of a bowl of space between mountaintops. Where you are, it's not windy at all. But you know that there's a lot of wind above you. You're just in a spot where you're not feeling it, but you can hear the wind. There are trees here, but they are blackened and burnt. Give me a nature check, all of you.
14.
Oh my God.
11.
I rolled a 2.
19.
Do I just sit there and fart?
What is with you and flatulence?
I
Oh,
have no
wait,
idea.
wait. I know. You're a teenager.
Yes, he does.
Okay. So Panq is able to notice that while these trees are like blackened, charred husks of trees, this happened a long time ago. This is not fresh damage. You don't know exactly how long ago it happened, but it was... You'd be measuring that time in decades, not months.
Okay. I kind of passed that along to everybody.
And there is very little snow here, actually. There is, however, a lot of fog. It's very misty. It might not even be fog. It might just be that you're high enough that you're in the clouds.
That's what I was wondering, is if we were that high up, if this was maybe more clouds than really fog. I mean, even...
At this altitude, they're almost the same thing.
Okay.
And you do... Like, the trail continues. It continues around what appears to be a moderately decent-sized lake. There are no knucklehead trout, before you ask. And looming up through the fog and the clouds, you see the same picture that I shared in Discord.
Oh, very good.
This isn't good, good at all, actually.
Is
And
it
looks
the
like
same
the
tower?
What Obaim sees is his vision.
I've seen that. I've seen that in my visions. That's the same tower that's in my vision. We're getting close, guys.
That tree
Yeah.
that's next to the tower over to the right in the image, exact same tree, branch per branch.
So we're making progress.
I'm going to have my shield out and cannon.
Yep, I've made sure that Bull's ready to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna ready my weapon as well because hopefully my vision doesn't come true.
Is there any way to, like, this is asking out of character, like kind of like a sense since the fog is kind of starting to kind of you can't quite see where we're going.
There's enough light coming through the fog
Mm-hmm.
that you can't use dark vision.
Oh no, I meant, but like somebody else in the party scan the area and see.
You cut out there, so I'm not quite sure what you were asking.
I was going to see if there was any way for like somebody to be able to kind of scan ahead of us and see if they detect anything, or.
I'm big.
Well, anyone that wants to can give a perception check.
Well, I meant like more like specifically like magic-y kind of.
Oh no.
That would be Ari's.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay.
He's busy holding Lord Idris's spellbooks for him. Talking like the teenager from the Simpsons show. Everything. Thank you, sir.
I guess I'd just like to make a perception.
You can all make perception checks. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'd like to do it too.
I'm a dwarf. I'm good at looking for doors.
18.
Natural 20.
Akari.
15 plus 4, so 19.
6.
Okay, so everyone who got the really high rolls, Ponk notices that there's fog.
But I'm really good with trees and how they're damaged.
Well, you just happen to notice that there were various kind of mosses and lichen that were growing on the charred husks, and that doesn't happen overnight. So the trail's going pretty good. It's obviously something that was built specifically for people to go to and from this tower. It doesn't look like it's traveled often, but often enough that it's maintained. And as you approach the tower, you see what looks like several very large bear traps. They do not have any bait on them, and they are tied to stakes in the ground with really thick iron chains. And they're all far enough away from the trail that unless you wandered off the trail and deliberately put your foot in them, they're of no danger to you. But you'd have to actively try to get caught in these traps in order to get caught in the traps. But they're set, they're open.
That's suspicious.
That's just weird.
Are you gonna fly at us? That's what's gonna happen right now?
If they tried to fly at you, they'd be like those the spherical things in Super Mario Brothers that are on chains that try to get at you, but the chain stops them. The chain is not long enough for those traps to reach the trail. If you stepped in one of those traps and got your leg caught in it, you would not be able to get back to the trail.
Mm.
All right, folks, let's keep going.
Yeah, let's keep following the trail.
Yep.
Okay, you're at the tower. There is a fairly large door, large enough that Fenix would not need to duck. He could put, if this door was open, Fenix could put his arm up and not touch the top of the doorway. This is a huge door. And about maybe 6 inches above Fenix's head in the door is a rectangular, what looks like a smaller door, like what you'd expect to see in a stereotypical fantasy game where somebody would slide a hole in the door open to look through. There's one of those.
I want to knock on the door.
Yeah, I was
using
gonna
a
say.
can opener.
I feel no purpose in life anymore.
Because you found something larger than you?
Yeah.
So I want to rap on the door.
Okay, so you hear some loud noises, and some mutterings on the other side, and you hear thump, 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 thump come over to the door. That rectangle opens up, and you see 2 incredibly large eyes attached to a very small face. Hello?
I just sit there and like, yes.
Hello, we're being sent by the people of Commerce to check in on Marwood.
Oh,
And
that
And I'm
thing.
selling candy bars for my baseball team.
We're not
The,
doing
the
that.
2 eyes swivel down to look at you. Oh.
Are
And then
you...
and they look over at Fenix. Oh. You're not from around here, are you?
No. You
Well,
could say
do come
that.
in. Do come in. The rectangle slides shut, and then the door opens up, and you see a gnome standing atop 2 incredibly large mechanical legs.
Nice.
Are you Fiddle Punch?
Fiddle Punch Iron Wrench at your service, sir. And he bows, and the entire leg contraption bows with him. So it's this huge graceful arc. And it sounds like you get the feeling that he wears this contraption a lot because he's very skilled at using it.
I give him a bow as well.
He points one of his fingers at Ponk and says, "You, where are you from?"
He just says I'm from a long way from here.
Yes, that's obvious. What world are you from?
Oh,
Boy.
You are clearly
Well.
not native to Circulus. Granted, no one's native to Circulus, but you are clearly not from around here. What world are you
Kind of
from?
like Florida. Nobody's from there. So, out of character, I don't remember what.
I pop up
was.
and answer for him, Farron.
Okay.
Faerun. Let me check my... He goes across the room and well, you might as well come in. It's freezing outside. Come, close the door. Come on, let's go.
I just look at him and awe the fact that he knows this, and yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna step in and just kind of start taking a look around.
Okay, well, this main chamber appears to be the entire size of the tower. Well, this is the first floor, at least. It doesn't. It's not divided into any subrooms. There is a stone staircase going up along the wall, which is where Fiddle Punch is heading. This appears to be a storeroom of sorts. There's a lot of crates and boxes. There's a few things that have large tarps draped over them with strange shapes underneath that you can't tell exactly what they are. Your imagination is coming up with ideas for what they might be. You want to kick your imagination a few times because it's coming up with ideas for what's under them. But Fiddle Punch is not even pausing. He's heading right towards the stairs, beckoning for you to come up the stairs with him. Come on, I'll put the kettle on.
While we're following, how do you know we're not from here?
Well, I didn't know for sure. I had a guess because there aren't a whole lot of half-elves on Circulus. But you are definitely not your average gnome. Not here, anyway.
I hear that a lot.
He looks over at you, Vex, and says, he kind of stands out like a sore gray thumb.
I know. But he's good at what he does.
I imagine he is, and I am very good at what I do. So come on, let's go. I will explain as much as I can.
Okay. I'll put my shield away. Maybe just have it on my back, but just to follow along.
Yeah, I've got my bow away, but my rapier and dagger are ready to be drawn if needed.
I follow as well.
Okay, so you all go up the stairs, and the first room that you come to up the stairs go right up into what appears to be a sort of kitchen food storage area. And by the time you get to the top of the stairs, Fiddle Punch is already putting a kettle on a stove. And he's sort of muttering to himself as he moves things around. There's more than one table in here. There's a bunch of countertops. There are papers and books everywhere. And they're organized in the way that someone who's incredibly bookish would know where everything is. But anyone who isn't that person would think it's just a total unorganized mess.
Could I take a glance over towards those papers? Maybe make a perception check?
Could I as well?
That would be the entire room.
Okay.
But you may see...
Just any
Okay, how
of
about
them.
the corner I'm in? Can I try to get a glance?
Go ahead, give me a perception check. Anyone who wants to look at the papers.
Can I look
17.
to just see if I can see any titles that I recognize?
21.
I'm not gonna look at any of the papers.
Also a 17.
Okay, what you see are notes that they're written in more than one language, in more than one person's handwriting, but they all relate, the one language that you can read, all relate to astronomy. There are some star charts that you see. The dates are quite old for the ones that you're seeing in here. There's nothing recent, but these are all historical records and all the musings of various astronomers.
Gotcha. Those your notes? You're a what do you call it? A stargazer?
Well, I dabble in a little bit. My true passion is in making telescopes. But
Oh.
once you make the telescope, you gotta use it, right?
Right.
So he comes over and he hands each of you a mug, and he starts pouring tea into them. If you want sugar, it's in the cabinet over there.
Thanks. Shit, it's cold out there.
The cabinet, by the way, is head level with Fenix. So
Go Fenix. Get me some sugar.
I just look at Brother and I have my hand on the handle of my sword.
Can I tell what this tea is using medicine?
I was gonna do the same, yeah.
it's some type of mint. You don't have to do a check for it because the smell of mint is quite strong.
Nothing wrong with that.
Is there smell of anything else that the mint is
almonds.
possibly?
I will let you roll a
covering?
nature check.
21. Yeah.
I can't see what that is. That's 19.
It's just mint tea.
I don't trust anyone.
I love
That's
tea.
fine. That's fine, but you are fairly certain that the only thing in it is mint, especially because you watched him making the tea.
I want to ask him. Do you have any of these? I kind of like this. What did you call it? Astrology? You called it, or astronomy?
He makes a face that you previously have only seen on high priests when you blaspheme their religion.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is
So I just-
not astrology. This is astronomy. There's a very big difference.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Apology accepted. Many people make the mistake. They usually don't make it twice here.
Is there a? Why? I guess I'd like to learn more. Then, do you have any of these old star charts? Maybe I could take or to read.
The old ones, I'd rather you didn't. Some of them are quite valuable, actually.
Oh,
And chances are you probably wouldn't find a reseller because astrologers are few and far between. I had to search half of Circulus to find another astrologer.
oh.
And that, of course, would be the person for whom you accepted the quest to come and visit. You're not the first adventurers that have done so.
I feel like I'm the only one that's confused about the bigger picture here. How do you know that we're not from Circulus, and how do we get back?
Okay, so how do I put this? It really depends on how much you already know. Are you familiar with a term called osmosis?
I am.
Yeah. Water through a cell. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
wonderful. Cellular biology is not exactly my field. It was more my sister's field. Incidentally, it's a good thing she's not here. She'd probably be asking for samples from several of you at this point. She was quite interested in Dragonborn, actually. But that's another story entirely.
Oh god.
Yeah, you get the feeling when he said samples, he wasn't necessarily meaning toenail clippings.
liver.
Scale crippling.
Well, as it turns out, and this is mainly a theory I haven't been able to 100% test it, but the data is pointing towards it. Anyway, he rambles on for like 30 seconds before he gets back to his point. What works in a microcosm, like with cellular biology or with saltwater animals in a freshwater environment, also works with worlds and timelines. Circulus, as a world, started off very much sterile. There was some type of massive cataclysm or event that created the mostly circular continent on which we all exist right now. And that was so incredibly powerful, it wiped out anything that was already here. Over time, that lack of life has pulled things in. And that is what's led to every being that currently populates Circulus today. Granted, most of that happened possibly millions of years ago. Records from back then are almost non-existent, thanks to the stupid empire, but never mind about that. But the thing is, and he pulls a bunch of star charts over and he lays them one after the other in what appears to be chronological order. Do you see this?
I look at them. Do I recognize anything?
Give me an insight check.
Could I take a look too?
Everyone who wants to can do an insight check.
15.
I'm rolling good now. 23.
19.
4.
Okay, so Fenix notices that all of these star charts are of the same general area of sky, and they're all the relative same time of year for each. And there's something not quite right with them, but he can't put his finger on it. In part because Fiddle Punch is not letting you touch them. Obaim notices that if you go chronological order, there are astral bodies. Some of them are stars, some of them might be planets. You're not entirely sure, but over time, some appear and then go away again. Some appear and don't go away. But over time, these are changing. And when you look at the dates that are on them, this happens, like, if you're talking with star charts, these are changes that happen over hundreds, millions of years. The dates on these star charts are too close together for these changes to be this significant.
We talking like hours or days?
We're talking decades, which is still incredibly fast. So
Yeah,
far
I
as
got you. Okay.
planetary bodies are concerned. And Fiddle Punch just has this huge lopsided grin appear on his face as he looks right at Obaim and says, "Ah, you noticed. It's not just this planet. It's this universe. It's pulling things in from neighboring universes through osmosis." And he pulls out from a pocket. And you realize that his clothing is pretty much covered in pockets. He pulls out a few more star charts, and when he puts them down, you can see the dates for these are much more recent. He puts them right on top of the older ones. The dates for these are closer. And he waves his hand over them and says, "And it's accelerating."
Anything like from 2 days ago?
That's a bit faster than readings I would want to take. If I could, I would probably be more terrified than intrigued. Right now, I'm along the border of that, because there are things in other worlds that are much more terrifying than anything the Empire ever came up with. And he looks over at Fenix and says, "No offense meant."
None taken.
Do I remember roughly how long ago it was I came to Circulus?
Yeah, that's my next question. When did we look around when we...
Whatever time you want your character's history to be.
Do you have anything from 6 months ago?
I'd have to look it up. They'd probably still be upstairs in Marwood's chamber. Oh, I know. Your quest says you have to actually check on Marwood, and of course, I'm going to let you go do that. We'll go up there next, but I do need to preface something. Marwood, when we met, was the most brilliant astronomer, most brilliant person I'd ever met. And the pause he gives before he says person, I won't even require an insight check. Gnomes think very highly of themselves and their intelligence, and for him to say that this elf was more brilliant than gnomes, even now he has to hesitate saying that, but he's being honest. So far as you can tell, anyway. But that was a couple hundred years ago. You ever have an old grandfather or great-grandfather?
It's a couple of cans short of a six-pack.
That's one way of putting it. He's grown quite senile over the years. He might confuse you for a previous visitor. He might confuse you for a child.
He's an elf,
he's had
isn't
several. He is an elf. And you, Akari, would probably know, especially because of your heritage. Elves are so long-lived. You're not entirely sure you've ever encountered a senile elf, an elf that lived so long it became senile.
Wow. Well, let's do our duty, guys, and go check on him.
Just, wait, real quick. What did the quest say his name was?
Old Marwood.
Nope, that's not what it said.
Oh.
I'm assuming you pulled the quest out because, of course, you brought it with you.
Marwood Lake Forest.
He sort of shudders, and his face just like he gets this huge frown on his face. Please, please, please do not call him that. Marwood is Old Common for Lake Forest. Someone at Okuma Ridge Keep wrote down the translation as his last name, and it bothers him immensely. His real name is actually, and he says, basically, from the Lake Forest in Elvish. So those of you who speak Elvish understand this. He's okay with being called Marwood because he's been around humans for so many centuries. But just please do not call him Lake Forest. He will throw a fit.
Hey, let me ask a question before we move on. What are the traps downstairs for?
Ever run into a zombie in Okuma Ridge yet?
Yes,
All the time.
multiple.
Zombies don't tend to look down.
Good point.
I almost died by one.
Also, I would try to not trigger the traps because they will come after you.
Okay.
I knew it.
He's a gnome. He builds stuff. Okay, so he leads you upstairs, and you see an elf that is looking into a telescope. It is daytime, but he's still looking into a telescope. He is not looking towards the sun, in case you're wondering. He's just looking at blue sky. He is rail thin. You're not entirely sure there's enough muscle for him to be standing upright, but there he is. If he was human, he'd probably have a Gandalf-style beard, but he's an elf. He does have white hair that goes down to his waist. It's combed back. He's wearing a relatively fancy-looking robe. It is violet with gold trim. The thread is it's yellowish in color. You're not entirely sure it's actually gold. But he's muttering to himself and taking notes on a slate.
Am I able to tell what kind of elf Yes.
High elf.
Hi. I say in Elvish, Marwood, greetings. We're come to see how you are.
Huh? Oh, what?
Hello.
Oh, company. Fred, why didn't you say we had company? Fiddle Punch sort of just
Fred.
shudders a little bit.
Fred.
Fred?
He's having one of his episodes. Just go with it. Oh, well, Fred, why don't you put the kettle? Oh, I see you've already made some tea for them. Wonderful. Oh, please, come look at this. Stay a while and listen.
God.
This is so fascinating. It's
Just throw some boulders on us, please.
I've discovered something incredibly fascinating. You must take a look at this. It's truly incredible.
I take a look.
He's drawn a picture on his slate that if you look at it one way, it looks like an old woman, and if you look at it another way, it looks like a young woman.
Why?
That's... And again, I'm saying this in Elvish tongue. That's incredible, Marwood. You've outdone yourself.
Why, thank you. Now I just need to figure out who drew it on the top of the telescope.
Okay.
And as he sort of looks up a little bit and puts his hand on his chin in a pensive pose.
Is he responding in Elvish, by the way, or is he responding in Common?
It's a bit half and half.
Okay.
It's like Spanglish.
I was just gonna say
It's like
that.
Spanglish, yeah.
And
So I'm the only one
I
that's
realized-
fully understanding him then.
I realized that as I was taking that pensive pose myself as I'm role-playing this character, that I don't have a camera on me, so I had to describe it. But as he sort of looks up and puts his hand on his chin in a pensive pose, looking up for him has him looking directly at Fenix. And his eyes sort of just go wide.
Ah.
You?
God.
Tell me, young man, are you a Dragonborn?
Yes.
I knew it, I thought so. I have an eye for these things, you know. I wonder if you could help me out with something, young man. Or is it young woman? I can never tell.
I'm not gonna take that as offensive, but man. Yeah. I'll say yes.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful indeed. Oh, I've been waiting for centuries to find out if you can help me with something. Not you specifically. You're probably way too young to remember, but never mind about that. So he starts rummaging through piles of papers. He knocks over one pile of books. They just spill on the floor. Every time he knocks something over, anyone who's looking in Fiddle Punch's direction just sees him cringe and shudder some more. He's doing very hard. He's trying very hard to not mutter under his breath about what he's going to have to pick up later. But he's not saying anything. Eventually, Marwood pulls out a little black, almost like a pie slice. It is solid black. You see no light bouncing off of it whatsoever. And this is so exciting. This is so exciting. He unfolds it, and he unfolds it, and he unfolds it until it's this giant circle. And he, with a motion that you, from everything you've seen from him so far, you wouldn't think he'd be able to do this, but he gracefully just tosses it at the wall and it sticks. And then he walks into it and disappears.
Whoa.
Oh.
You still hear him. He's still
Right.
talking about how excited he is and how much he's waited for this, but you're hearing him continuing to rummage. And he's definitely knocking things over. At one point, you think it's an entire suit of armor that he's knocked over. You're fairly certain you heard a live chicken.
Yeah.
And he comes back out, and he in the same smooth motion that he put it up on the wall, he just sort of puts his finger around one edge and flicks his wrist, and it folds back up into that same pie slice. But he is now holding a small wooden box. And he comes over and he says, Here, take a look at this. This is so really, really exciting. And he hands it to Obaim.
Can I insight check him?
Go right ahead.
$16.
He is genuinely excited. He cannot hide his enthusiasm.
Is there anything written outside the box? Anything like, anything I can tell what type of box it is, where it comes from, or anything like that?
Give me a perception check.
22.
Okay, well, everyone can see that this box is covered in carvings. The decorative carvings are a low relief, of course, and they depict Dragonborn in various martial activities. In all of them, the Dragonborn are obviously winning, and they're winning against the various non-human races of Circulus.
This isn't good.
Well,
Are there any words on it, or is it just pictures?
There's no words. It's just pictures. Now, Fenix, you know, because your parents drilled this into you as you were growing up, the history of the Dragonborn. They were created as
Weapons.
Yeah, they were created from humans, human volunteers actually, to be a type of super soldier against the dwarves and the orcs and the elves and everyone else that was pretty much rebelling from the Empire.
Specifically orcs. Yeah, they had a big deal with that.
Well, the orcs were a huge portion of the armies, but it was all the non-human races pretty much rose up against the Empire, because the Empire was treating them like basically slaves.
You are correct.
So all the non-human races are represented on here, and the Dragonborn were kicking their butts in all the sculptures. With Marwood's advanced age, it's even possible. Now, this was 1,000 years ago, and elves don't tend to live 1,000 years. But maybe he knew a guy.
Oh, it's known to happen.
Yeah. But he didn't hand this to Fenix. He handed this to Obaim. He's like, oh, please open it. I've been wondering if a Dragonborn could possibly open this, because my magics just don't work on it. Oh, by the way, Obaim, with your high roll, you can also tell it's mahogany.
Jesus.
There's an obvious lid. There don't appear to be any outside hinges, and there is no clasp, but there is very obviously a lid that should be opened in one particular direction.
Hold off before you open
that. Screwed me last time, but yeah, I was going to say the exact same thing, but an undercommon, so he didn't understand us.
I'll tell Obaim if I could look at the box.
Wait.
Yeah, just hold up.
What are you guys thinking?
Since somebody seemed to have a problem with Dragonborn the other night.
Yeah.
Seems like somebody doesn't. This box seems to be depicting Dragonborn fighting everybody. I don't know what this means. Does this mean there's a prophecy that's going to come true, that they're going to try to wipe out the dragon?
But
Obaim's perception check is high enough that I'm going to say that, especially with his experience with mending spells,
yes,
you got to have that come into use somehow.
Yeah.
This box is most likely at least 1,000 years old.
Wow.
So it was probably made by representatives of the Empire.
And in my vision, I was standing on top of a bunch of bodies.
That's the worry, that you're going to suddenly be standing on top of a bunch of bodies, though.
Vex, Punk, and Obaim under me.
Yeah, but that's my
I-
point. That's the worry that you're going to end up suddenly trying to kill us all.
Yeah.
Don't open it.
And then I say this in an undercommon. Plus, we don't know if this guy's really crazy or just sadistic.
He probably speaks Undercommon.
We gotta try something. There's no other way for him
He's
to
still
know.
bouncing up and down, wringing his hands in glee. He wants to see what this box does.
I'm taking a step back.
But by the way, when you rolled your insight check, I rolled for Marwood and I rolled a 1. He's not hiding his glee at all. He wants to see what's inside this box.
I
Should-
don't know.
should-
That he wouldn't be hiding his glee if he wants to see what's in that box, even
Should-
if he's lying to us regardless.
Should everyone
You
stay
don't
back?
get the sense that he thinks anything horribly, like he doesn't think that opening the box is going to turn the tower into a flaming crater. with
Should
all
everyone-
dying.
Should everyone stay
Absolutely.
back? Should everyone stay back and I just open it and see what happens?
We're not going to move forward until this thing is open. So I give the box to Fenix and show him how to open it.
I back up and
Yeah.
my hands on my bow, but I've not drew it yet.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna open the box, and yeah.
Okay, everyone roll a save. No, I'm joking.
Yes! I can roll multiple.
Okay, so you open the box, and you see a copper dragon head
Hmm.
with a long neck that extends down to the bottom of the box. And it's almost as if the inside of the box is...
Swear to God, if you say it.
What?
If you say bigger on the inside, I swear to God.
It doesn't seem like it's bigger on the inside, but it looks like this handle is for something that it should be on the other side of the box. The box side, you can see the bottom of the box, but the handle extends into the bottom of the box.
Hmm.
What is it? What is it? What do you see?
I'll say it's a copper dragonborn head.
Fascinating. Well, go on, take it out.
Alright, I'll take it out of the box.
Okay, so you put your hand on the copper dragon head, and you roll for initiative. No,
I hate
and
you.
you pull it out, and you pull it out, and you pull it out. It is
Oh,
the
no.
hilt of a long sword.
Whoa!
What?
Whoa.
The copper dragon head is the pommel, and the neck is the hilt of the hand, the part you grip. This doesn't have leather or anything wrapped around it.
It's not painted.
It's not painted. No, it is bright,
do that?
gleaming copper.
Fenix, is this the sword that you had in your dream?
I'm pretty sure this is
You
not.
you couldn't see
couldn't
any
see it?
details for the sword.
Yeah,
You were focused on the bodies that you were standing on top of.
Yeah.
You actually, in your dream, you assumed that the sword in your hand was the current longsword that you got from the guards.
Hmm.
The blade, it is a longsword. It's not a curved blade. It's a two-edged sword, and there is script written on the blade, on the flat of the blade, that reads. Let me look at this so I say this correctly. Marathomax's claw is what it says in Draconic.
What the heck?
Who is Marathomax?
You can roll a history check.
God, I love the rolls tonight. I see 18 plus.
What did the inscription say?
I just put it in Discord.
History plus 4. 22.
You have no idea who that is.
I asked Fenix, is that Fenix and then the elf? Does this name mean anything to you guys?
None of you know anything about that particular name. But granted, if this was really created at the end of the Empire, it was created 1,000 years ago. There's plenty of people, beings, whatever from then that have disappeared into the dust of history.
No, I agree, but I mean there are
And
dwarf religions dating and things and stuff that are centuries and millennia old. That
Is this sword like basically just the same longsword?
it is. You have a very strong feeling that this sword is magical. You do not feel the sudden urge to kill your entire party, in case you're wondering. I'm just throwing that out there. You do not feel murderous rages. Better in combat? Yes. Urge to kill? Not rising.
My urge to kill this elf is rising.
Wait,
now that he's seeing the sword, he's pretty much... He's like, oh, that's very nice. Yes, very nice indeed. May I see the box?
I'll give him the box.
Okay. He is very fascinated with the box. He taps at the inside walls. He casts a few detection spells. And he closes the box. He goes to open it. He can't open it. That's it. Would you mind? And he hands it to Punk. Would you mind opening that for me?
Oh my god!
No.
It can only be opened by a Dragonborn. I thought you would... Well, very well. I guess I'll put it away. His ears droop.
Aw.
And this
Sorry,
is D&D
Charlie.
elf,
Ears
so
don't
his ears
droop.
aren't long enough to droop, but you get the sense that they should be drooping. Because now he can't look inside the box anymore.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm okay with that.
I'll hand it to somebody else. I ain't touching the box.
Me.
Okay, you open the box for him, and hand it back to him, and he continues to examine it. You'll have to forgive me. Extraplanar spaces have always fascinated me.
Possible this box came from our world.
Your world? What the... Oh!
what do you roll?
Are you not from Circulus?
Not originally, no.
Do you hear that, Fiddle Punch? They're not from Circulus. Fascinating. Have you taken samples? No, Marwood. That's my sister. Remember? She visited 300 winters ago. No, not 300. That's too far. She visited 30 winters ago. Oh, yes, your sister. A lovely young lady. She was 300 years old. Yes. In the prime of her life. They go back and forth for a little while.
Is anyone going to tell me how I can get home?
To get home? Oh, that is simple. It's so easy to do. All you need is to wait until there are more people like you here than there are in your native world, and you'll sort of just pop back. Or some of you will. The math is a bit tricky.
Good.
Question: do I add the Dragonborn longsword to my inventory?
Well, Marwood was pretty much only interested in the box and its ability to hold something that was larger than it. Originally, he was interested in the box because he couldn't open it. But now that he knows it can hold something larger than what's inside, well, than the interior space, he only cares about the box. He's like, yeah, okay, you can have the sword.
Frank.
It's the same.
Fiddle
It's
punch.
I'm just going with what your boss calls you.
He's called me pretty much every name that begins with an F at some point.
Fiddle punched you. How do I get home? How do we get home?
I wish I had an answer for you. Believe me, I do. You are not the first extraplanar visitor that has come here. For some reason, adventurers seem to come over more than any other type of person.
When was the last time somebody like us came here?
Came here and visited this tower specifically?
Yes, on this list.
Maybe... And I'm estimating here. 6 years, 3 months, 24 days, and 5 or 6 hours, give or take.
You can't be
That
more
is
specific?
not an estimate, love.
He deals with astronomy and star charts. Timing is key.
Okay. I have an idea for something, but I don't really want to say it around these guys. So I don't know if there's a way to, like, maybe me and Vex or, can just step out for a minute and have a chat, or...
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Fiddle Punch sort of gets the idea that you're not wanting to be hanging out there, and so he sort of, under the auspices of letting Marwood get about his research and not be bothered by visitors so much, kindly escorting you downstairs.
Yeah, that's fine.
He wasn't getting the sense that you wanted to talk privately. He was just getting the sense that you're like, okay, we're kind of done being in a room with the most senile being on the planet.
That was another. He seems to be really fully aware of what's going on with the people coming over, and he seems like he's okay with it. And versus it being
for
a bad
those
thing.
5 minutes,
Right.
he was.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, is Fiddle with us here? Yeah.
Other days, I've caught him wearing the chicken as a hat.
Yeah, pretty with it when it comes to what's going on in here, though. He's pretty clear on all that.
Give me. Let's see, what kind of check do I want to do? Give me just a straight up wisdom check.
19.
Okay, so
Wow.
you are aware that there are some kinds of dementia that aren't constant. They come and go. And the frequency increases as it gets worse. But even at its worst, occasionally those people will have sane moments.
Okay.
And with that high roll, you also know that the people who care for those individuals, because it's a long-term chronic condition, it really wears down on them over time. And you can see some of that in Fiddle Punch.
Yeah. Yeah, he's yeah.
By the way, you are currently in the room with that's the kitchen area.
Uh-huh.
And the star charts that he showed you are still right where they were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make a move on him while he's here. Yeah, I kind of don't know what to think. I don't know if we want to bring up anything else that's kind of come to our attention.
Look, I had this dream about, or this vision. This vision was something. We're here. We need to be here for something. We need to be able to talk to Frank and kind of figure out exactly what we've been encountered in this particular area, and see if there's anything that he can give us as far as information. Why these particular beings or these deities are missing, and if they're missing or if they're dead, but we have to figure something out.
Okay, first of all, it's Fiddle Punch. Second of all, tell me about this vision.
I think we've had 3 visions between us.
So let's talk about the vision. So my vision was all about this particular place, tower in the mist, which we know now is in the clouds. There was an urgency for us to be here. We are here now. Let's go ahead and Vex, go ahead and tell them about yours.
Floating above the valley of Okuma Ridge, the valley was shrouded in darkness, and then the shadow expanded out, continued through the entirety of Circulus until there was nothing left.
And my vision was that everyone, there was we're talking about hundreds of people below me, and I was standing on top of them, including the people that are right here. And I was standing on top, cut with a sword in the air.
Not to mention, we have 2 deities that are not, we can't sense them, and they're not being able to help the people of Okuma Ridge with healing and helping the people with things with heals and things of that nature.
Yet our deities are able to break through the barrier of a different planet and help us.
Fiddle Punch looks very serious. And without saying, he holds up one finger as a sign of, wait one moment. He goes over to a totally different pile of papers. Pulls out a journal. It kind of looks like it's a book, but it doesn't look like it was a published book. More one that's been written in a lot. And he brings it over and he flips through, and he opens up a certain page, puts it down right on top of the star charts, and points at it. And what you see, but actually he explains it. 30 years ago, there was this creature that appeared in a kingdom. He says the name. You kind of sort of recognize it as one of the Circulian kingdoms. It was basically all mouths. And it absorbed people, and those people's mouths became part of this thing, and it would speak with their voice, and it was eventually destroyed. A few years later, he flips forward a bit. There's he keeps going through, and he shows you more and more accounts of strange creatures appearing, and they were very noteworthy for Circulus. And those of you who are from Faerun recognize many of the beings, not all of them, but many of the beings that are in this journal. It's not just the stars. It's not just this world. Things are getting pulled in here, and it's increasing. Do you recognize any of these?
Some, not all.
It is possible that you got your vision to come here because it's a warning. Things are going to get a lot worse.
Oh, I knew it.
Fenix, you're from East Faerun.
Oh, I am.
I thought Fenix was from Circulus.
Yeah,
I'm
he's from actually southwestern Circulus.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I was created here.
No,
Well,
I
you
went
were
back.
created here, but
I wasn't?
100 years ago, your parents were turned from humans into Dragonborn because they volunteered. Well, not your parents. Your parents.
Oh, yeah,
You're
because...
just a descendant.
Yeah, Dragonborn breed true.
Oh, God. Okay.
Additionally, and he
There's more.
flips through some more star charts, and he pulls out some star charts that are dated about 100 years ago. You know when the whole zombie thing started, right?
I don't know. Down.
No,
Your characters know that it started roughly 100 years ago.
About 100
Okay.
years ago.
100 years ago. Yeah.
And he shows you some star charts dated roughly 100 years ago and 101 years ago, and there is a big difference between them. This is when it started getting worse.
When the dead started rising.
It's possible whatever force is making the dead walk in Okuma Ridge came here from another world. Possibly yours.
Crazy question. But there's been a lot of crazy this afternoon, so hey ho. Do you know anything about giant floating eyes that just apparently kill people? And I don't mean just like disembodied illusions, I mean like actual physical eyeballs that have been ripped out of people's sockets.
I found some animals in the area that were missing their eyes.
Wonderful.
Any specific location?
Nothing majorly specific. They were spread throughout the area. I don't tend to get out much, but occasionally I do still go hunting now and then.
Any
Are
people?
you on good relations with Lord Etris?
I don't exactly get weekly invitations to the keep, but they do have a quest to have people come and check on us.
Right.
I'm getting up there in years, and well, you met Marwood. One good fall on my part, and we'd pretty much be stranded here.
Because I'm thinking we might want to kind of pool our resources based on what maybe he's going to find, and based on what you've maybe noticed. I think we ought to kind of bring the whole team together, as it were.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that something's coming, you are aware of that something's coming.
And the fact that the
And
guys
something's already here.
Yeah,
and the
something's
fact that,
already here.
that the zombie thing is increasing faster. They're rising faster.
What?
And the
Yes.
fact,
Why didn't you tell me
yeah,
that?
Yes.
because there's been a lot of mind blowing going on this afternoon.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, yes, I'll grant you that.
And a lot of mind eating.
What?
Zombies.
Mind is a terrible thing to taste.
Grains. Unless it's a vegetarian zombie, then it's grains.
God damn it, Crash. I'm just praying for the boulders. Yeah, they're, I think, what, 2 hours, one rose?
Yeah.
At most 3.
That's unprecedented.
So we've been told.
He starts muttering, and he grabs another book, and he starts going through.
Oh, okay.
He's sort of like, you see him counting on his fingers to make calculations, but the numbers that he's counting are like, he's not counting 1, 2, 3, 4. He's using his fingers as placeholders for, like, numbers that are actually letters. 2 hours? How long ago was it 2 hours?
Yesterday?
That means it's a lot faster.
Well, yeah, the day before it was 2 days.
So the rate of growth... if this keeps up, people will be zombies before they die.
I don't see that happen.
No, that doesn't make sense at all.
No.
I'm not a scientist, but I think I can rule
I'm
that
not a
out.
scientist, but I think that's not how it works.
I think we ought to head back now that with this information.
Well, let me give you a scroll that says, yes, you were here, so you can claim your quest reward. Ideally, we would be going back with you, but Marwood can't leave the tower. He throws royal fits if I try to sneak him out of here. The weather's no good for him at this age.
While he's getting the scroll, can I whisper to Honk
Yes.
Did you start?
Say it again.
Did you?
He's
need a
actually
star
gone
chart?
through a door. He's in another room right now.
Okay.
Did you need a star chart?
Not yet.
Because he's in a different room. Now's your chance.
Yeah, I was gonna try
Did-
to.
Not tell Vex that he needed to get star charts?
No, I
I
didn't.
swear you mentioned it to me.
No. I didn't share that with anyone.
I thought you said it to me. Okay, never mind.
Nope.
I don't bring that
What?
up to you then.
But I would like to use sleight of hand to try to maybe get one from the bottom of the deck, as it were.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
All right, I get that. So
Roll a 1, roll a 1, roll a 1.
5.
Okay, so you managed to not flip the table over. But for a moment, you weren't quite sure.
Oh, there's my keys.
I hear that if you yell whoops when you try this, that's like a get out of jail free card. You do have a pile of papers that are now neatly tucked in your backpack. And by neatly tucked, I mean, well, you have
Stuff.
kids. You know what a backpack looks like when they come home from school.
Yes.
All the papers
the
that were
important
neatly in
papers at the
folders are
bottom.
actually, yes, in more pieces than they were in when they were delivered.
Oh.
You're
Okay.
fairly certain you got some star charts.
Okay. I'm gonna just try to look slick as I try to maybe try to put the papers back the way they look like they were.
Okay. And Fiddle Punch comes back with a scroll that has a seal on it to prove that, yes, you were here. So there's your quest reward. Meanwhile, Ponk is trying to whistle nonchalantly, but not whistling very well. He's moving air between his teeth, but beyond that, the sound isn't a whistle.
All right. Well, thank you for seeing us.
Not a problem, not a problem. It's always good to have company. Although, thank you for being so understanding.
Of course. I think we ought to. Like I said, I think we ought to work together on.
If you need anything, any research, any note-taking, by all means, come and visit.
All right. Thank you.
I do have one request.
Yes?
Could you focus your efforts on a way for us to get back without waiting hundreds of years for our plane to be empty, which I don't think will happen?
It wouldn't need to be empty. Just not as full as here. Everything that's come over, for the most part, with very few exceptions, has been something that either didn't exist or there weren't a whole lot of here already. You, for example, I'm assuming you are a half-elf?
Yeah.
Elves and humans, with the history of this particular world, don't tend to mix frequently, and when they do, they usually don't mix in that way. You are quite possibly one of less than 100 half-elves on the planet.
Number's not that small, but it's not much different where I'm from.
How many gnomes are there here? I haven't seen many of us.
You're the only gray-skinned gnome I've ever seen in my life.
Well, I guess I'm the only Dragonborn.
No, you were born here.
You were born here.
Oh,
We're from a
no.
different planet, Logan.
No, like half of like how many that are dead Dragonborn?
Well, it's been 100 years of generations, and Dragonborn don't live as long as humans.
Yeah. Who knows? I may be one of the only Dragonborns alive.
No, there's an entire community of Dragonborn in the western part of the continent.
Oh god.
But you are possibly the only Dragonborn within 100 miles.
Yay.
They are a rather insular community. They don't tend to get out much. And actually, I don't think Obaim has said that he's from another planet. So Fiddlepunch hasn't said anything about that.
I'm not saying anything.
Well, me and Ponk know about each other.
Yeah.
The little conversations and undercommon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at this point, the day has not gone by so far to prevent you from getting home. You could be home in time for supper, probably.
Yeah, let's head
Thanks
out.
to that stupid ranger ability. You can't go out anymore.
All right, guys, let's head back home.
Natural explorer people, woo!
Okay, so as you are heading home, it starts to snow. Roll a perception check.
Ugh, 11.
Natty 20.
16.
10.
Okay, so at a rate equal to, well, inversely proportional to the number that you roll, you one by one realize that it's not snowing. What's falling to the ground isn't melting in any spots. I mean, it is slightly above freezing, so the huge snowdrifts are slowly going down.
It's an ash.
It's ash.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Can we see where it's coming from? Obviously it's dropping from the sky, but can we see the source?
Yeah, like
You
is the wind
cannot.
blowing?
And other than the ash falling, your trip back to town is 100% uneventful. Vex, you still occasionally, once you started going up the stone stairs, you didn't see that wolf in the distance anymore, but now that you're heading back, you still see it every now and then. But that's... What's that?
Can I stop and beckon over?
You most certainly can, but it doesn't come over.
Okay.
You get back to town with otherwise nothing else happening. And the townsfolk and the various refugees and everyone that are hanging out here, they are unsettled by the ash falling as well. Give me another perception check.
Oh, this is so awesome.
I
Now, that
rolled
was either a 1 or a 20. Which was it?
I rolled another 20.
20.
Okay.
It hit off of my book into the out of 20.
So the reason why the snowstorms are so bad in the Gores and in Okuma Ridge are because the way the mountain ranges in the area are arranged, it creates this natural funnel that pushes humid air up through the mountains, through the Gores and into Okuma Ridge. The lion's share of the snow lands in the Gores, which is why the Gores is impassable in the wintertime. But it still hammers Okuma Ridge itself. While the snowdrifts have been going down in Okuma Ridge, the Gores is still impassable. But this means that the winds in this area almost always come through the Gores. So this ash is coming from either someplace pretty far into the Gores, because you don't see smoke clouds rising, so it's not just right on the other side of the wall, or it's coming from the other side of the Gores.
Of course.
And that is the consensus of the rumors that are spreading throughout Okuma Ridge Keep right now from the various townsfolk. They're pretty much all really concerned that there's a huge fire in Gore's Gate.
We're gonna have to go check out Gore's Gate, aren't we?
We can't. The gorge is unpassable during the winter.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that even with a frickin' ranger with you, you would have a tough time doing it.
Gotcha.
And
Even with
we
the
are
god, you're going
going
to struggle.
I'm sorry?
Even with the god, you're going to struggle.
Pretty much. And we are going to end this session here.
Very good.
Perfect. My dog has to go outside.